Boom, check 1, 2. There we go. Hi everybody, we're on the Hohner YouTube channel. This is episode 88 of the Hohner Live. That's a lot. So we're gonna reach 100 very soon. People are tuning in from Germany, of course. Fort Collins. Okay, from the US, Boaz is here. All right, yeah, let us know from where you're tuning in. And yeah, I'm happy about this episode. Today is a holiday in Germany, actually. There's no holiday on your side, is it?
No, not today.
Yeah. So please welcome with me a fantastic harmonica player from my generation, I would say, Nic Clark. Give him a big hand.
Woo!
I want to see a lot of clapping hands in the chat. Thank you for taking the time to do this. Yeah.
No, dude, seriously, happy to be here. Super cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mike is tuning in from Florida. Shane is here. Hope you're doing well. Flying Harp.
What's up,
nice. Shane? Awesome. Yeah. I don't want to ask any boring questions and ask you about like how you started out playing harmonica. What's your favorite video game?
Oh man. So I don't really play video games.
Okay.
But back in the day,
I have
it
the
would be Halo.
feeling most harmonica players don't.
Yeah. No, we're too busy.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking is we got
back
these.
In the day, it was Halo.
I know. Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, man. Do you know the harmonica player Gary Allegretto?
I don't. No.
So he's from the LA area. He's a super nice guy, great blues harp player. And they actually, the main character in Halo is like this ripped soldier looking dude. And they scanned Gary's body for that character. So Halo has a harmonica connection, which is super cool. Gary Allegretto, check him out.
Nice, yeah. I mean, the reason why I'm asking is we got these monthly challenges going on Twitch. And this time it's going to be video game music.
Oh, nice. That's going to be awesome.
We're still in need of some submissions. I have the feeling that harmonica players aren't too much into the whole thing. It's on Sunday, everyone. Let us know in the chat, what's your favorite video game out there? I heard about Halo, yeah. For me, it was always just like boring, like Football Manager.
Oh, nice.
Like I didn't even like playing FIFA, you know? I didn't want to play. I just wanted to manage the team, you know?
I love it, man.
That was my thing. By the way, I'm selling my PS5. Anyone?
Get up on it. Buy it now.
Exactly. Put your hat on, Nick.
My hat? Oh, man, it's somewhere. I think it's in the car. I have a gig later on today, so put my hat in the car because I'll forget it.
Nice. What's the setting for tonight's gig?
Okay, so it's down in Denver, downtown Denver, and it's a dance studio. They teach a bunch of different dance to different genres. Awesome. And tonight's their blues dance, and so they hired my band to go play some music while they the students get to interact with the live band. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, playing in front of people who dance is like the best thing ever.
Yeah. And it's a plus that a lot of them tend to be 20 and 30-year-olds instead of the usual typical blues crowd, which is
really okay. That's nice. That's even better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also a thought I always had. When I was in Cologne studying jazz at the music school, you had some guys playing serious jazz like almost every night in the city and in front of like 5 people. And then we founded like an improvised techno band because like the drummer was into like techno raves and stuff.
Yeah.
And we just in summer we played like outdoors in the woods. Young people dancing. Yeah. We were just playing in between the DJ sets. And we played in front of like 400, 500 people. Of course.
Beautiful, man.
I mean, you didn't get paid, but you also didn't get paid at the jazz club, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's way more fun to play in front of 500 people dancing than we were still
Yeah,
improvising,
5
you
people
know.
staring at you. Yeah.
Exactly. That's interesting.
Totally, man. Yeah, that's beautiful,
Did you have
man.
other experiences playing harmonica in front of people dancing, also like other styles?
Uh, no, not really. I've just been a blues player for my. That's what got me into it, and it's funny to see you definitely have experienced this with the jazz community, because they also, that world struggles for younger audiences, right? And it's funny that when you tell somebody the genre of music that you're about to play, their preconceived notions interfere with them enjoying the music.
Yeah.
But if you just start playing, usually they get into it, you know? And so whenever I've played a blues specific gig, it tends to go where there's not a whole lot of people there. But if we just show up and start playing, that's when the crowd kind of gets into it. And so,
very true.
Yeah, you know, you have some experiences where it's like not the best, and then other ones where you thought it wasn't going to be the best, and then it turns into a whole party, which is nice. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I see. Oh, I had a thought. Let me think.
Yeah, man.
Well, what did you just say?
Yeah.
Yeah, playing in front of dancers.
Oh, not telling people what you.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, not telling people what style of music you're gonna do.
Yeah, just play.
And sometimes you can also just be like, oh yeah, it's a classical concert, and then you just play some jazz and improvise, and they don't care. They can't. Most of them can't even tell the difference. If you would tell them up front, oh, we're gonna play 5 jazz songs in that set, and we're gonna improvise, they would be like, oh no, you can't do that. We are like a classical venue. Like, no.
Oh man, absolutely. It's funny. Like there's a jazz club in town that I play at now, and there were like, we did like this like little Walter tribute, and they were like, oh, we don't know, you know, we're a normal jazz, we're normally just exclusively jazz. And I was like, you know, little Walter was listening to like Lester Young, and so he wanted to be a horn player, you know, a jazz horn player. He just happened to be in the blues world. And so we showed those instrumentals, and it ended up being a good night, you know. And it's one of those things where preconceived notions does nothing well for the music world. It just makes it bad.
So what would you say are your main influences, I mean, now in terms of style, besides blues?
Yeah, so I really, my main gig, right, is guitar and harmonica. And I just write songs and do like this songwriter thing, but instead of Bob Dylan harmonica, I play, you know, more bluesier type of harmonica. So I listen to a lot of songwriters that don't have harmonica, you know, and then that helps me, I don't know, put the harmonica in context where it feels useful. You know what I mean? Currently, my favorite harmonica player is Stevie Wonder, right? Because he just puts it where it needs to be, and he doesn't, you know, it's not like calisthenics, you know, it's not like harmonica music. It's just music.
Yeah, I mean, you can't force the harmonica into every song.
No, absolutely not. But you can, like, you could sneak it in. You know, people don't know. Like, you have that single that came out a while ago where you basically played like what would be a synthesizer padding on the harmonica. I don't know if you remember putting that song out a while ago. I'd have to look for it, but it was like what you would normally hear like a synthesizer or, you know, an electric keyboard do. You like use the harmonica, right? And I think Stevie does that too, where like half of the people that listen to his music won't even realize that that's a chromatic harmonica, right? Because he, you know, they'll just assume, oh, it's another keyboard part, you know? So yeah, you can sneak it in a lot too, you know?
That's true. I mean, like the people with the thoughts of like how harmonica sounds, that's like so different for everybody, for so many people. And like, I think if there would be more serious harmonica recordings or like of more advanced players out there, also on the radio, people wouldn't even notice that it is harmonica.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Only if it's. Then they know, okay, I love that harmonica part on that song, you know? But if for somebody who plays the instrument musically, single notes, whatever,
Yeah. Goes right over
sounding like
somebody's
another
head.
instrument,
Yeah, man.
they would be like, oh no, what's that?
Yeah. Like, this is still more in that, like, Americana vein, but there's this new country artist that's kind of popular. His name is Coulter Wall.
Okay.
And he has harmonica on his latest single, and it's played by my buddy Jake Groves. And it's usually, country harmonica has that kind of like, those single note pucker playing type of thing. And he added just like these tongue flutters, and the way that they EQ'd the harmonica, it had that organ padding sound. And I was like, wow, like tongue flutter on a country song that's popular. Like, who would have thought,
Okay, I see.
It's like sneaking in these little harmonica nerd stuff that we obsess about into popular music is we're slowly getting there.
What's the name of the artist and the song again?
Yeah, so it's Coulter Wall.
Okay.
And let me see the song. It's called like Evangelina, something like that. Yeah, Evangelina Coulter Wall. And the harp player is Jake Groves, who's a great like Americana harmonica player.
Okay. Nice. I'm gonna check it out. I can share the Spotify link in the chat.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear like what's that pop guy? Harry Styles. I want to hear Harry Styles and you do a song, or like or Howard Levy or somebody, do the let people know what the harmonica can do, and not just like you said, the Bob Dylan thing.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it,
Yeah. As people nowadays say, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
The terrible thing in Germany is like most of the young people here are like, it's a vibe. That's how they pronounce it.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, I started to create like a Spotify playlist of like pop songs that contain some serious harmonica.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw that in the chat, why not?
Yeah, man. It's
Share
cool
it.
because that Coulter Wall guy he's like the closest thing to being as big as you can be in the country world without being like pop country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead of like big arenas, he does like Red Rocks and other like amphitheaters and not like giant stadiums. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, in my playlist I included, a song that I recorded on that was like by an Austrian, is it like house music? No, like electro swing artist.
Nice, yeah.
Power of Stellar. He's kind of big, and at some point
Sweet.
I recorded on a high A-flat harmonica for him.
Nice, that's
Super
awesome,
weird.
man. Yeah.
And I got some Travis Scott in there with, I think that's Stevie.
Stevie. Yep, yeah. Do you have the Sileo with the guy from Wolfpack? What's that guy's name? The guitar player from Wolfpack.
Oh, they got a song out?
Yeah, Sileo played on his like acoustic record.
Okay.
What's that guitar player's name? Corey Wong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guitar player from Wolfpack did an acoustic record.
Overcome. Here it is. Yeah.
Yep. And there's Sileo's
Gonna
on
add that
one
one.
of the tracks.
Yeah. Of course, I got the timbre in there and the Riva where Greg Slap played on. Say You'll Be There by the Spice Girls.
Oh, really?
You know that harmonica solo?
I don't. That's awesome. The Spice Girls got some harp on it.
Yeah, I used to record that for like a cover version or something, so I got to know it. I mean, I love There Must Be an Angel.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely, man.
Then there was a song by Charlie Winston called Like a Hobo. That was kind of popular. Very bluesy sounding. It was a Seidel Dorsey that played on that one.
Nice.
There's some German Schlager. Like some German evergreen music. That, of course, includes some harmonica. I love Karma Chameleon.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. What a nice use of, what is that, like an F harp or an E harp or something like that? Yeah.
I mean, nice, I used to prefer lower harps all the time, but I mean, this makes me believe in higher harmonica. Definitely.
Oh,
for sure, yeah.
Totally. I mean, there's some recordings of Jason Ritchie playing like an E flat harp on the high end, and it's like gorgeous. It makes your tugs at your heartstrings. Yeah, man. High harps definitely have a place in the world.
and We Will Fly. That's a song by Kurt Elling, great jazz singer, and he has some Gregoire Murray on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, he's amazing.
Shane says, do you have Confessions Part 1 with Usher and Stevie? I don't think so. You know about that one?
I don't know that one. I don't know about that one. That's awesome.
Can't really find it. I can find Part 2. I'm on Spotify.
So who's the harmonica player that played with Kurt Elling on that song? The Chromatic guy?
Gregoire Murray.
I mean, what an amazing player. There's a record he did with Charlie Hunter that I forget the name of it, but it just was re-released, like remastered and re-released. If I can think of the name, I'll let you know about it. But yeah, Charlie's doing his thing with his instrument, and he's playing his chromatic harp, and it's just like, just the pocket on that record is insane, man. It's so good. That's like it's not a pop record, it's a jazz record, but it's legit. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a playlist to be continued.
Yeah, no kidding.
Working on it. Yeah. So, for the people out there, you don't know, you're not only a diatonic player, but you also play some chromatic. Did you also get the new Hohner expression?
I did. Let me see.
Yeah, because I saw that video of you playing it on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. So I was kind of a blues snob for a long time, right? So I just played marine bands and stuff like that. Okay. But I recently, for live audio reasons, like at gigs, I switched over to Special 20s, and I wanted to make a whole switch over, and I was playing CX12s, but they're a little chunky for my hands, you know? And so this expression harp that they just came out with is like the coolest thing, man. It feels like a plastic comb 270, which is nice, you know? Yeah. And I'm mainly a third position guy, or I'll do, F major, because it's just land on the F instead of the D.
Yeah, I also just have like a few keys I like playing in on the chromatic.
Totally. And I can fake G, bluesy G, I can fake that. But what I like, man, is I like taking techniques from more serious chromatic players and applying them to the typical D minor chromatic blues thing. Like I think I said in the video, I listen to a lot of Antonio Serrano, who for me is like the guy, Yeah,
he's killing it on the 270. Like everybody at these festivals, it's like playing whatever, like customized diamond whatever instruments, and he's just rocking his old 270s.
I know, man, and like I can't think of another player who at such an early age was exposed to high level music as a harmonica player, where he would be on this side of him would be Paco de Lucia, and on that side would be Chick Corea. You know what I mean? And you're just sitting there with a little 270, right? Trying to keep up with those guys. To me, like, that guy's got so much music just pouring out of him, like Antonio Serrano's, like so good. And so I try to take the way he like really expresses those single notes. I try to take some of that technique, because it's all just embouchure and vibrato and stuff like that, and apply it to the D minor chromatic stuff. That's what I just try to like kind of. One of my favorite players, I know early on he was a favorite of yours, Carlos Del Junco.
Still, I mean, for me, it's like one of the most musical packages on the diatonic.
Absolutely, man. And talking to him, he kind of downplays his playing a little bit, right? He's like, "Oh, I'm just a blues guy with overblows." And it's like, no, dude, you're not just a blues guy with overblows, because like his expression on those notes, like when he plays 12th position and he does those like little chewing vibratos on like 2-draw double bend, just like the way he pours all that emotion out of his notes, man. So I try to do that with the traditional blues thing, I try to take those techniques from guys that are like way above me and try to apply it to my little blues thing.
So who was the first harmonica player you discovered? You listened to? What was the first time where you consciously listened to harmonica?
So man. So I started when I was like 11 and 12, right? So these are kind of like, and there's been a lot of bar games since then. I'm 27.
Okay, same.
Yeah. So these are kind of like flashes, right? I have moments of thinking back to those early years, listening to Sonny Boy Williamson #2, and having the vibrato and the hand technique, because it was acoustic, right? So I think because it was acoustic and I didn't have an amplifier, he had more of an effect on me early on than like a Little Walter or a Paul Butterfield or something like that, because it was relatable with the hand techniques.
Yeah.
And so I obsessed over him for a long time. And then the first player I really latched onto was Ronnie Shellis, because Ronnie, I went to this blues festival in Colorado, and I found out that Ronnie lived 15 minutes from me in Colorado. And so he became like my in-person mentor. And so, there was a while where, you know how it is with the people you idolize. You get on stage with them, they play a song, the solo, and then they give you the mic, and then you play it and you realize, oh my God, I sound just like them. You know what I mean? You're like, oh no.
So you basically got your first lessons from Ronnie.
Yeah. I had learned like bending and stuff like that, but as far as music and how to go about it, I learned from Ronnie.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, he was also like the one who really kicked off the harmonica topic on YouTube.
Yeah, and like I was about to say, him and Adam Gusso and Jason Ritchie doing those YouTube things. When I was just getting into it, I would pop up on YouTube, harmonica lesson, most recent today, and see what those guys uploaded, and try to learn those 5-minute videos,
Yeah, I think we watched the same videos back then.
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy. And nowadays, like, there's so much material and so many guys teaching out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's great. But it's, it's like it's so inspiring, man. Like we were just talking about, you're going to Brazil, right? Yeah, those guys. Wow, you hear some of these guys, and you're like, I knew the harmonica could play, the diatonic could play anything because of Howard, but the way they hear music in Brazil is so different, right? And like you just hear them put it in a different context, and they're like young dudes, they're dudes like our age playing this instrument in this wild way. You're like, dude, this is so cool, It's still a relatively small community, the harmonica world, but we are seeing like this mini explosion of great new ideas,
Yeah, I mean, comparably young, definitely down there, the harmonica scene.
Yeah, definitely. Who's the guy? My buddy, is it Octavio? Plays just the C harp diatonic.
Yeah.
Dude, whew, you listen to him and you're like, dang, man, that is brilliant, man. Brilliant playing. So
yeah,
good.
we had him on, and he basically gave like a big lesson. That was very interesting and definitely worth to check out, because he doesn't really differentiate between over bands and stuff, or overblows and bendings and blow bands, whatever. For him, it's just one difference. He got like two groups. One group is non-compressed notes. The other one is compressed notes.
Yeah, I love it. That's
and then
awesome,
also
man.
his layout of the instrument is very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like his visualization of the instrument.
Yeah, totally. I would assume so. Like, because like when you listen to Howard play, you could see his left hand, right? You could kind of see him workshopping notes by playing it and finding it on the harmonica, right? So he very much feels like a piano player playing the harmonica. But Octavio just feels like you're like, you know, this guy had a C harp and was like, I'm going to play music with this. I don't care what key it is. I don't care. You know what I mean? So I bet the way he visualizes it has to be unique, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's your way of visualizing the harmonica?
Oh, man.
Is there anything you think of while playing?
I do like the basic thing of like, I kind of try to think of a melody, like kind of sing it in my head, you know, a half a bar before I try to play it, you know, kind of that multitasking of present thought, you know, of like, what do I want to play next, you know? And then other than that, I try to... Lately, I've been trying to get out of like the very typical blues thing of like, you know, from 1 to 4 you have your blues riffs, and then the middle octave you have your blues riffs, and then from 6 to 10 you have your riffs. You know, I'm trying to see it as just one big thing, you know, instead of just sections, which I think is kind of lame. So try to do exercises, you know, like the typical, like start from one end up to the top end, just to get out of like the box feeling that comes with traditional blues. Yeah,
because like sometimes it's just like, you got your blues licks down there in the low octave, and then you can do these two things in the middle octave, and then you can play that one single lick, the pentatonic descending from the upper one. That's it.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like it's kind of a drag. That's one thing, is like I would like to see. I think the idea of traditional blues music is great, but like the way we think about it can change, you know. Paul DeLay is a perfect example, right? Billy Branch is another one, where these guys came up playing traditional blues, but they still figured out how to sound like themselves, you know? And so I would say the harmonica world is evolving, and we need to go with it. Even if you want to be just a blues player, you need to be willing to go out and do what Little Walter did, which is find your own way of doing it, you know? So like I may be like a traditional blues player, but I don't have any of those like, you overblowed, like you can't overblow, you know? I'm not like that at all, man. I'm just like really lazy, and like I see Jason Ritchie and how long it takes him to like set up a harp and keep the maintenance with them, and I'm like, I can't sit there and do that, man. It's intense.
Haven't done that myself in a while. I mean, it's very tedious.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, woo.
And I also gotta send them in they have to be retuned.
Yeah, I bet. So I have a question with gear. Are you somebody that has like the non-overblow friendly harp set, the mid-range set, and then like the fully if you tongue block it a little bit, it's going to choke out because it's so sensitive for all those overblows. Do you have like multiple sets?
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just got like one set that has to work for everything, But I noticed sometimes like whatever, like maybe you're playing a little bit more of a funky thing with chordal elements. Something I just recorded for social media or something, and I went back and played just like a out of box Hohner Rocket.
Oh yeah.
Because it just had like way more impact. I could go in there also with the articulation. Yeah, it sounded way more clear.
Totally, yeah, man. I never noticed that until it's kind of embarrassing. I only noticed you can hear how a harp is set up if you really listen to it, right? Definitely. You can feel like the lightness of like you listen to Howard's harp and you're like, oh man, if you gave that harp to like Joe Falisco or somebody, it would choke out immediately, right? Because it's not set up for that,
Yeah.
If you pay attention, you could hear it. And I only started noticing that 2 years ago. And I was like, oh. Yeah, man. I got into some overblows. I don't do them, man, because like I learned them, right, and I learned like some like chromatic riffs to try to get that like middle octave going a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then a great harmonica player, he's a Hohner guy, Jared Goldweber. He was like, "Hey, man, you still need to get those overblows in tune." And I was like, well, I'm using them as a passing note. It could be a little, out of tune. He's like, no, if you're going to do it, And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to set this harp up. So I might not use them that often. But I think if somebody's watching this, maybe because they like the traditional blues aspect of my playing, I recommend experimenting with overblows just so you can, see what it takes to become a higher player, you know what I mean? And then also, even if you end up not using them, it gets you thinking in a different way where you can play your harmonica without overblows, but not play the same old blues riffs, So I'm pro all the new things.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So you play harmonica and guitar very frequently using the rack. What's your gear then? What's your favorite rack you're using? And
so this is my go-to one. This is like the Hohner. I forget what number it is, but it's the smaller one for just the diatonic. And I use special 20s now because the plastic comb, since I can't articulate with my hands, right, because I'm playing in the rack, and I'm playing harp out of the same vocal mic, so they're EQing it for vocals.
Yeah.
That raspiness that usually sounds super good with the wooden combs can kind of get a little bitey and unpleasant. So I switched over to the plastic combs to kind of minimize the tinniness of the harmonica, since I'm playing it kind of fully acoustic without my hands. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then I play like acoustic guitars mainly. I don't really play electric guitars. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to try this. I only have a rack in my hometown, and I got the guitars here, but I'm not too much of a guitar player. So, did you play guitar before starting out with the harmonica, or did the guitar come into play later on?
So I started both at the same time, but the harmonica was the one that I had promised for. I think it was because, it's cheesy to say, but because you can keep it in the pocket, right? At that early age, at 12 and 11, if it's in my pocket and I can be anywhere with it and I'm bored, I can pull out my harmonica and start to practice, So I think that helped. At the early age, I just knew like how to play the typical blues shuffle in E, Yeah. But then after a few years of playing gigs and stuff like that, I got really into acoustic Piedmont style of acoustic blues with that alternating thumb. and picking out the melody with my fingers. And I wanted to do that. I was like, oh, I want to be like, you know, Big Walter on the harp and Mississippi John Hurt or Elizabeth Cotton on the guitar. You know, that was the idea. And so around 16, I started focusing on the guitar way more. Yeah. Which is like, I think right around like all my buddies here in America went from like being flashy blues players to like learning how to overblow. And instead of making that jump, I was like, I'm going to go learn a different instrument.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So there was also the time where you started to combine the two.
Yes, totally. Yeah. And that took a long time, man.
I believe. Like, what are the biggest tips you can give for people out there in terms of like coordinating the two things, like stuff you practice?
Yeah. So it's like drumming. Yeah. So like a drummer, you know, you got to figure out where are they separate and where do they line up if you're trying to play a particular groove, right?
Yeah.
When is the kick and the snare in unison and when are they not? So you break down the parts, right? A very easy thing to do is like play one chord, you know, let's just take like, let me see. Let me grab a guitar.
Yeah.
Okay. So like take like an E chord, right? And just kind of just downstrokes, right? And then with your A harp, sorry, dead air. So just downstroke the one chord and just play 2 draw, right? And then say, can I start and stop the note or can I add vibrato, you know? And then, you know, can I bend while I do this? It's super boring, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like that consistency and breaking down the parts tends to, you know, then it helps. And then it's just, you know, I just didn't want to like strum. I wanted to finger pick, right? And so doing that allows me to get to points where I'm like, you know.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
So, yeah, we just lost the thought.
That's all right. Yeah.
But I love the chords, and I love that style of music.
Oh yeah, totally. It's like blues, but it's not like the typical blues, right? It has a sensitivity to it, and not just like the, you know, the smoking, whiskey drinking kind of stereotype we think of blues, you know?
Yeah. And then I saw that you basically tongue blocked the whole time. Is that true?
Yeah, totally. When I'm playing harmonica, I use everything, you know, pucker playing, because you want to articulate notes differently, you know. You want to switch and do that kind of Buddy Green country harp thing where you're moving the jaw as a pucker player to get that particular sound, right? But when I'm playing the rack, I tend to tongue block all the time because the tongue blocking helps dampen the tone for the vocal mic, you know?
Yeah.
So it helps with in tandem with the plastic comb. And then the second thing is, because I'm able to move my tongue, I don't have to move my head. And so there's less movement going on because I'm juggling all these moving parts, you know? And so
True, yeah.
Instead of going like, I can go, you know?
Nice. So, I mean, for the people out there, you also played through both sides of your mouth and got comfortable doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Just those movements. I want to be economical with the way I move my body when I'm playing both instruments. Yeah.
Yeah. Check out the chat. Let us know in the chat if you can also play tongue-blocked stuff through both sides of your mouth.
Yeah. Who's that Chromatic classical player who does that? He does the tongue switching. Like
Robert Bonfiglio, who's really big at it. Yeah. He's gonna be the next guest on the Hohner Live.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because he uses CBH, right? Those CBH chromatics, and I've saw a video of him doing the tongue switching thing and doing like a classical piece, like a run, and you're like, oh my god, it makes so much sense to do, tongue switching each side. It opens up a whole lot of possibilities. I'm not like that, I'm just.
Okay, Shane asks, I'm curious how playing guitar has changed your harmonica playing. What do you think the biggest advantage is to playing another instrument in addition to the harmonica?
Yeah, okay. Well, first off, Shane is the dude. He's awesome. He's a sweetheart. Second, and you'll know this for sure, man. Writing songs, becoming a singer, producing, engineering, playing piano, playing guitar, whatever it is, makes you so much more of a compassionate, sympathetic harmonica player, right? You understand where the sonic frequencies of a guitar or a piano rest, and you hear your harmonica in a better context for music, not just harmonica music, but capital M music, Yeah. And even people like that are just kind of traditional players, like for country music, Mickey Raphael, he's not really a songwriter, but when he goes into a session, he asks for a lyric sheet. He wants the chord sheet and the lyrics because he wants the lyrics to also inform how he plays harmonica, right? So getting in, at least dabbling into everything else in music will help your harmonica playing tremendously, because you figure out your role, right? Because we have a very specific role. Our frequency is very specific. We have other competing, a mandolin in a bluegrass band versus a harmonica. There's all these genres have instruments that have similar frequencies to us that are already established instruments in that genre. So we have this uphill battle to climb and to make our presence a little bit more known. And so getting into all those different things helps us get the call back, at least, Yeah. And then going from like a young kid, right, wanting to learn everything on the harmonica, and then realizing that harmonica music doesn't really sell that much, and that music that features the harmonica has a better chance of selling, and is way more relatable. So, this is still a blues context, but like right now, Slim Harpo and Lazy Lester, Jimmy Reed, those are my favorite harmonica players because they play 112 bar harmonica solo, and it's a counterpoint to like the vocal melody of the song, right? So it's 1950s pop music, they weren't there like this is blues, they were just making pop music. And so, Raining in My Heart, that melody, oh. All that stuff. I know that melody as much as I know the vocal melody. Same thing with like Stevie Wonder with what's that one? Isn't She Lovely, right? People know that harmonica solo note for note, and they may not even know it's a harmonica, because he found his role on that solo,
Yeah.
So players that find their purpose playing guitar has helped that. That's a really long answer.
Yeah, I mean, so big advantage playing some other instruments, and also I think practicing harmonica, it also can help a lot to just play the parts of the other instruments on your instrument. So why not play the bass line on the harmonica? At least practicing at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not play the arpeggios of the chords that are being played by the piano or the guitar, whatever. So that will also make you a little more, I don't know, empathetic towards the other instruments and the instrumentalists. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I think it's funny. I haven't been putting as much time, woodshedding harmonica stuff, but I feel like I'm way more of a professional level harmonica player now because I've gotten into songwriting and playing guitar, right? Because I know when not to play, which is like number one.
That's really good. And I like the thought of, not telling people that it's a harmonica song. I'm going to consider that publishing my next songs. I'm not going to be like, it's a song with a harmonica hook. And everybody's going to be like, no, I don't want to listen to that. I'm just going to be like, it's a song.
Yeah, totally. Check out this song.
Yeah. Not like, oh, it's a harmonica solo, and then I play the overblow on hole 6 and I bend it up and...
Yeah, totally.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Shane
cool
says,
because, like,
also, if Nic writes a book called Not the Typical Blues, I'm reading it.
It's gonna be a pop-up picture book with like 4 sentences.
Raymond is tuning in. Hello from Riga. Nice. Hope you're doing well. Jared Goldweber. Nick is some of the best acoustic cupped tone I've ever heard. How do you approach it?
Acoustic cupping?
Yeah.
Just try to be Joe Falisco, man.
Easy.
It's easy, because I'm sure you've listened to Joe play where you're like, he's got to be holding like a coffee cup or something, and then you realize that he's not, and it's just the chamber he creates, Being mindful of, this is what I'll do, man. I'll spend an afternoon doing stuff like this, where I hear the tonal difference between holding the harp like this, holding it like this, holding it like this, and just messing around with the different chambers you can create,
Yeah.
They're micro differences, like so subtle that it's stupid to become obsessive about it, but I do because, I'm a harmonica player and I want to like mess around with it. So lately I've been getting more into this one, the kind of Adam Gusso.
I was really into that playing like the whole amplified stuff and in blues bands back in the days. Yeah. Dennis Grunling holds it like that. Like and Phil Wiggins, who's one of the best acoustic blues harmonica players. Tom Ball, they hold it like that. For a long time, I did this one, that kind of really dramatic one where you even kind of turn to the side. Yeah, exactly.
But it became a little much. So I'm trying to do this one, or kind of like the Kim Wilson, Joe Falisco, where there's a lot of the side leaking out, so you can just focus on the lower 4 holes. Yeah, man. That's
playing classical, I try to cup the tone a lot, or like just get rid of the higher frequencies,
Oh, dude, I know. It's not like, and most people don't even think that. Like, there's harmonica players that are really good, and they don't even realize that, like, if you were playing it right in front of me, it would sound amazing. But since we have this vocal mic that's so clear and crisp, those frequencies can kind of become your enemy, and you have to do something with it, have to cut it down.
Yeah, that would be also a valuable trade if you're playing in a band.
yeah, dude.
If you just can control like not only your volume but also the range you're playing in.
Yeah, dude.
Thinking about the other instruments, yeah. Shane's Joe Falisco and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah. That's a great book. Yeah, man. It's great.
But yeah, like even with the C harmonica, I still think it's like such a high instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play it without cupping at all, and then you get the lip pursing going on, and don't take the harmonica too far into your mouth. Like,
yeah, dude, yeah.
I mean, it
It's
doesn't
a
sound
lot.
really good. Also, you got less control over the intonation of the notes. Because, like, still, even with the natural notes on the instrument, you can still control the intonation.
Yeah, totally,
And
absolutely.
that plays a huge role, too. And also,
Yeah,
my
man.
instruments aren't freshly tuned all the time, you know?
Yeah, totally.
I can't send them in every month, so...
Yeah,
And then
man.
if you got the hands available, if you take the harmonica further into your mouth... Oh, that's nice. That sounds
yeah.
like an instrument, you know?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. It's it's wild, man. I used to be a blues purist and be like, oh, it can only play Hohner Marine bands and blah blah blah. And now I'm a tone snob, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, those plastic combs help a lot, man, because they cut some of that down, you know.
And now I realize that, I mean, there's this thing with guitar players who are sound nerds. And I can totally understand now.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Dude, yeah, it's wild. But even like combs, I mean, cover plates, like the special
Cover plates
20
make
on
a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the combs themselves, they are maybe mostly for what feels comfortable, also for your tongue and stuff if you're tongue blocking.
Totally.
But for sound, the cover plates make the biggest difference.
Yeah, a huge difference. Yeah, like it's weird how like
that's why the rocket is so loud, you know.
Yeah, because straight out there, you know.
It's so open.
Yeah, it's so loud and it goes directly straight out into the open air, you know.
And then with the special 20 with my customized instruments, like my customizer also tries to open them up a little, you know.
Yeah.
But if you got a special 20, I don't have one here. It's a little more closed, but it's also comparably warm, you know?
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
Nice. Especially playing in a rack, you know, where you don't have your hands available.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Anything to kind of mute it down a little bit, it's very helpful.
Yeah, just looking at the other ones. I mean, the Golden Melody is pretty wide open.
Yeah, especially
this is the old one.
Yeah, the new one is wildly big.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have one. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean pretty wide open on the new one.
Yeah, you got a bigger resonance chamber with them too.
Yeah. I like it. I like the new one a whole lot. Yeah.
How do you feel about the sound on holes 5 and 6? Does it feel different for you?
Because of the little chunky square thing there in the middle. I saw Jason do a video and he pointed it out, and it's like I do think there might be a difference, but not enough for me to like. I think the benefits of the new harp outweigh the muting of those two holes. You know, I'm not and it's funny because we obsess over these frequencies thing, right? But like if you're in with a band or like a rock band, there's so much like the cymbal that the drummer is going to crash into is going to wash out whatever you're playing anyways, you know? So it's like at the end of the day, it's like if you like the harp and you like the way it feels and plays, once you start adding all these other elements, these little micro things are gonna kind of get washed away. Now, if you're playing acoustic solo guitar, harmonica, or piano and harmonica, doing these like really clean, then we're obsessive over these frequencies. But like if you're in a rock band or a funk band,
yeah, I mean live is also different than studio.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So yeah, with the Golden Melody, I'm like it's not the worst thing if there's like a little thing in the middle covering up.
I mean, I saw
5 and 6.
quite a few players really using that to hold the instrument.
I'm
not doing that myself, but yeah, I was surprised that actually quite a few people make use of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, 5 and 6 like kind of feel different. I didn't record them yet to like actually compare what's coming out of the instrument on the other side, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna ask my customizer to maybe like, whatever, get rid of it. I don't know. Maybe do this thing. Like,
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because it's not so much about stabilizing the whole thing. That's what my customizer told me. Like, depending on how you open it up and bend it inwards, it could actually be more stable than before, you know? It's about how you do that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not the person that really like puts a lot of force on the cover plates while holding it, you know? There are other players, totally. Maybe, I don't know, they are pressing down.
Yeah, totally, yeah. I think...
and this just happened, like, I was sitting on this one, so that was...
Oh, yeah, I mean like, you know, if you have to put your flight case of harps in the backpack and then you put it in the overhead and somebody's suitcase rams into your harps, man, yeah, they're going to be bent up a little bit. You know, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, Boas also says, yeah, some players just crush those cover plates. Yeah.
I know, man. Well, the lighter touch, the better, right? Because then you can actually... If you're tense and you're like crushing, your shoulders are probably up like this and you're probably in more of a fight or flight
and your breath
place.
Also, I mean, if your shoulders are that way, also your breath is not as free-flowing as it should be.
Yeah. Light as a feather, man. The whole thing got to be light as a feather.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So in which kind of settings are you usually on stage? So tonight you're playing with your own band, but I suppose you also play some solo gigs with the rec and stuff?
Yeah, that's the main gig, is the solo thing.
Okay.
But I do the band thing every now and then. Lately, I haven't been taking amps to band gigs. I've just been playing harp like through the vocal mic, you know, just because I love a tube amplifier or a low wattage tube amplifier with a bullet mic. I love all that stuff, but it's not, you know, it doesn't work for every song, you know. And, you know, all those blues guys, James Cotton and whatnot, a lot of the gigs would just play through the vocal mic anyways, you know, so one less thing to carry, you know, I can help the drummer with his load out and load in now that I don't have an amp, you know?
Yeah.
And then I do a lot of like, I do this Americana gig with this songwriter buddy of mine named Sean Lambourne. And that's the one where I use like a 5-watt stage 5 amp with a Blows Me Away SM Ultimate 57. And then I run it through a Boss delay, a Boss reverb, carbon copy delay, and a EP pedal boost to kind of, because when I run it through those two delay and reverb, it kind of flattens the tone, and then I use the boost to kind of get it back to 1. And that's where I do like the trippy, you know, Mixolydian scale, you know, jam rock type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through some YouTube videos and I saw this one. I think I saw that one 12 years ago. Nic Clark playing a VHT Special 6 amp 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
I did see that one 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the whole thing of harmonica and putting yourself out there on social media and stuff? Like, where are you most active? Or what are your experiences and what's the stuff you put out there?
I think so. Experience. Rick Davis put out a lot of videos of me on YouTube, right? Since I think even that video is put up by Rick Davis, and a lot of those videos of me are of me at a blues jam, just playing harp, you know, not even like an actual gig of mine. And so I think people have this preconceived notion that I'm like a blues Nazi, as we call them, you know, like those, like, you know, you gotta sound like Little Walter or nothing, you know. And I'm really not that kind of guy, you know. And so being put out there, I've gotten a lot of exposure in the blues world, which I'm super thankful for. But now I'm putting out content and it's a little more focused, right? And it's coming from me, right? At my gigs, I have a single coming out tomorrow and it's like my music and stuff like that. And so it's a little more strategized. Yeah.
Is it on Spotify then? Did I link your Spotify yet?
Not yet. And it comes out tomorrow. Yeah.
Do you already got a Spotify profile?
I do, yeah.
Okay, I gotta find that.
And so now I'm being a little more focused with the content that comes out. And I hope what I can do is be one of these guys who's like, yeah, I play traditional blues, but I'm also a fan of what Konstantin does. I'm a fan of what Octavio does or Howard Levy does. And I think we should all get along because this harmonica community is really, really small. Yeah. And we all need to be buddies. You know, there's not enough room for a division in such a small community, especially when it's a community based off of music and art. Right, we're supposed to be the hippies of the world. We're supposed to be about peace and love, you know.
I do find different Nic Clark profiles, obviously, on Spotify.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know which one's the right one?
Yeah, there's this album called "Love Your Life" that is on Spotify, and it's a picture of a heart.
Nice. So I'm gonna link that one, so people can already go there and like follow or like whatever, like pre-save. What's the thing you do on Spotify? You know?
Yeah. So right now the one that's on there is a kid's album, a children's album, but tomorrow is the first single for this new blues album that was produced by Charlie Hohner that comes out. Yeah, the single comes out tomorrow, and the full album comes out in end of June, beginning of July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just gonna put all those social media links into the chat too. That makes sense. I should do them often. So you got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify.
Yeah, man.
Nice. So you can pre-save the song. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I gotta tell you, this new record, I'm excited because Charlie is known in the jazz world, right? But he's a real big fan of blues music and especially acoustic fingerstyle blues music. And so it was cool to be able to be like, you know, I only know this world and this guy can play literally anything. And it's like we get to make a blues record together. It was super cool, man. I'm excited for people that don't really listen to blues to listen to it, and then for people who do listen to blues, listen to it because it's a little bit different than the typical blues record. Yeah.
Nice. I'm following now. Nice. So what are your experiences at harmonica festivals? Have you been to Spa before?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I love it, man. Especially we have a growing contingency of younger 20-year-old artists, you know, that go to Spa, and we get to hang out, and it's not just you hanging out with a bunch of old Pago My Heart playing chromatic players. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, Pago My Heart is beautiful.
It's a beautiful tune, right? But I want to hear somebody who's into like house music and stuff like that. You know, I want the whole thing to kind of grow, and
I want somebody playing future funk on the harmonica.
Exactly,
you know?
Absolutely, man. I want the whole thing. I want the whole spectrum of music, and so we get a little bit of that. I'm hoping that it just progresses more and more, because it seems like when Spa was first around, it was classical players that didn't like blues players, and now it's older blues players that don't like anything other than blues, right? And it's like, instead of us showing up and then it's like a bunch of overblow jazz players that don't like anything else but overblow jazz players, I want it to be, we all just show up no matter what we play, and we're like, man, isn't this instrument amazing? You know, maybe that's not how human nature works, but I see that it could happen where it seems like, what's the festival in Germany, the big one?
Which is the World Harmonica Festival?
Yeah. It seems like that tends to have a more all-inclusive feeling, right? where it doesn't matter the genre, everyone's going to be highlighted. I would like spa to have that a little bit more, and that just takes maybe younger people like me asking other young harmonica players to come and to hang out, because the people that run spa, beautiful people, it's just getting that younger generation more and more involved. Yeah.
How about other players in their teens? Do you know about some players who are coming up at that age?
Let's see. Teens. Whew. Well, there's that one, right? The she's not in her teens. She's like younger than that, right? She's is it Tansy, something like that?
From China, yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing, right? She's like already better than all of us. I love that, She like has a Hello Kitty backpack and she's already a better harmonica player than I am. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, but now thinking about it, then there's Rohan from India, who will also be at there's a new harmonica festival in Berlin next year. They're doing it for the second time, and he'll be there too as a main artist.
That's awesome. He's fantastic, man. He's
so
super
I'm gonna meet him again, and also next month I'm gonna interview an Iranian chromatic player. Her name is Nikta.
I don't know her.
Yeah, Hohner told me about her. Yeah, Nikta
Nice.
Motab. I gotta practice.
Pronouncing
that name for June, I guess.
Yeah.
Motamedinejad. Yeah, that's Nikta.
I think it's right.
I'm not sure how old she is. Yeah, hard to guess.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Seeing the harmonica world can be a bit of a boys' club, right? And so getting away from that as well would be cool to see.
Yeah.
But
Boa says Nikta is amazing,
slowly.
classical chromatic player. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Shane says, I hate how accurate that description about Spa was.
Spa's beautiful, man, but I think us younger people need to, try our best to have it be what we want it to be, right? Because we're going to take over these festivals at some point, So you're going to be on the board of the Harmonica Festival, and you're going to have to call some shots.
Oh, yeah. Which also means no more judging.
Yeah. He did it.
Judging at these festivals is interesting sometimes.
Yeah, I bet, man. I couldn't do it, It's wild. Yeah, man. So what about you? What have you seen in the harmonica community lately that you like, that you're like, whoa, this is cool to see? And then maybe some stuff that you're like, oh, this is not what I would want for the community.
Wow, that's interesting. I feel like, for me, back in the days, I early on signed up for these harmonica forums. So there was a German harmonica forum. It's still there, Harp Forum. Then you got Modern Blues Harmonica. But both of them, to be honest, it's outdated, that form of a forum, Yeah, people
totally.
are using these Discord servers nowadays. And there are two nice Discord servers. We got one, the Harmonicats Discord server, and there's also one called Harmonica Hangout. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there could be more active people in there. You got so many possibilities there. Also, you could speak to people in real time at any given moment. You can chat. You can start a little talk within the Discord server. It's super easy. So, definitely many advantages to like your regular forum. So I think that's an awesome place for the harmonica world in terms of replacing that
old school thing.
Old school forum. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, that's one thing I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Then of course you got more instructional material on YouTube than ever.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, people are drowning in how-tos. How to
which
do
is
this, how to do
nice.
that.
I mean, you got to find
Yeah.
the good stuff. There's sometimes there's new stuff coming out that's amazing. Sometimes there's new stuff that's more about whatever. Like, let's try these Chinese harmonicas. Like,
Yeah.
better go back to a 10-year-old Jason Ritchie video.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, anybody who wants to find his or her way, I mean, they definitely will. So,
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's another thing. Like, advice, it's like, advice helps, but also, like, say, like, for you, you were going to do this. You were going to find the information, whether if it was just listening or, you know, finding somebody that can help you because you wanted to, right? I wanted to learn how to do this. There was no stopping me, right?
I mean, if you don't you don't want it enough. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And especially, man, I have this 12-year-old harmonica student, and she's kind of learning how to play passively. She just wants to learn how to play some music, and she chose harmonica, right? It's not like she heard, you know, Stevie Wonder or somebody and was like, I have to learn how to play harmonica. She just wants to learn some music. But even though she has this passive way of learning, she's, you know, you're a sponge at that age, right? And like, she's able to bend and play, you know, low bends and all this stuff. And she's just partially invested. It's not like she wakes and sleeps with the harmonica in the bed, you know, like I did, you know. She's just, and so I think whenever you see somebody at that age wanting to learn, and you're a content creator on YouTube, you have to, that comes with responsibility. Like, you do a really good job of making sure that whatever you put out is useful, you know, and can be exciting for somebody who may not understand the musical part of it yet, but like can hear the music and not, you know, and be inspired, you know. So I would agree with you on that, where it's like, if one thing would be nice to see change is content creators take a little more responsibility and not worry about the views so much as like getting some useful stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. How about you in TikTok? Are you on TikTok? Do you put out stuff there?
I don't. My main thing is Instagram. I'm thinking about joining TikTok, right? Because Jared Goldweber has some nice stuff on TikTok.
Let me see if I got some views on my new video I uploaded today. Because it's interesting. I'm just like exploring. I don't know. Yeah,
man.
I didn't go viral yet. Let's say that.
But who's that one guy? He's like gone viral
Isaac.
in the harmonica TikTok world. Yeah. He seems like a sweetheart of a guy. So yeah, there's a world to it, right? You have to learn the TikTok world to get it over, right? And you're in the same boat as me, where you're like, I'm trying to play on sessions, I'm trying to make original music, I'm trying to do all this stuff, and then you're also like, hey, don't forget about, you know, social media. And you're like, there's only so much our brains can handle. Like, we grew up with computers and the internet, but not this computer and internet version that we have now. You know, we're already kind of outdated.
Yeah, Jared says tech has advanced so far, even in the last 10 years. It's going to be cool to see what new players use that to their advantage. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you got the MIDI harmonica.
Yep.
Then also, I mean, I experimented early on with guitar pedals, and I stopped doing that completely.
Yeah.
But there's so much to be done. I feel like also, just actually like using the harmonica and then adding production to it.
Yeah, dude, know? Like hearing
so many possibilities.
And like keeping it just like, if you want it to be simple, like, you know, there's a lot you can do with a reverb plugin instead of just the traditional, you know, like hall sound reverb on the harmonica. You can be super creative with how you EQ a reverb plugin
Yeah.
on an acoustic harp, and it gets some wild sounds.
Yeah, one of the funniest things I ever did. I mean, I got a little less exploratory, I feel like. Even like last night, I got back to like some productions like I did 4 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And now it's more like, oh yeah, I'm doing that style and I'm listening to songs that are popping and, you know, you're trying to sound similar, whatever. But back then I didn't care. I just did my own thing. And I incorporated more harmonica. And there were some songs where I played some harmonica solos. I never put them out. I at least want to put out the solos for the harmonica players.
Absolutely.
Where I used autotune on the harmonica, and I used like closed headphones, and I turned the monitor in my headphones up so I can basically only hear the processed signal and not the actual physical instrument, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm probably like used maybe like a C harmonica, but set the autotune to the key of the song, which was F sharp major.
Yeah. Nice, man. Yeah.
So every note is like something completely different comes out of the instrument.
Yeah.
And then you figure out like some licks, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's like super interesting. You can slide over the harmonica and you always get notes that are within the scale, and you can play crazy solos.
Dude, that's so cool. You
so
gotta
like an
release
auto-tuned
it, man.
harmonica, and then if the song is in E, whatever, then I'm gonna use the harmonica that's furthest away, so a tritone away. So I'm using a B flat.
Yeah.
And I'm just like cranking the auto-tune on my headphones.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
I
bet that's got some interesting sounds to it.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta release it. I would love to hear that.
At least the solo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of that, like the whole production thing, yeah. I mean, harmonica can go very far with that.
Oh,
if
yeah,
players
man.
get into that.
Totally. I mean, it's with the interface and Pro Tools and different plugins, that becomes an instrument in and of itself, right? It's really endless what you can do with that material, the audio engineering side of it, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna play it to you after this.
Dude.
I feel like I can't find it as that quickly to play it right here. But
yeah, no worries, man. Totally, man.
I still loved it when I looked back at some stuff yesterday and found some stuff that I sampled like 4 years ago, and I feel like, yeah, I can still use that today. It's
totally
nice because I didn't put stuff out, you know.
Yeah, isn't it wild how you'll listen back and it's like 5 years ago, and that's not too long ago how life works, but in the music world, you listen to something 5 or 6 years ago and you're like, that was a different player. That was a completely different person. You know?
That's true.
That's wild.
Man. Yeah, I am gonna find it. Let me check out the chat. Yeah, let us know in the chat if you have some experience recording your harmonica, using some effects, guitar pedals, or plugins.
Yeah. So when you record, like just acoustic, right, and you're just going for like a clean sound, what mic do you use? Do you use that one?
Yeah.
Nice.
I go with that one all the time.
Nice. And that's the one that Howard, he uses that live too, right?
Right, yeah.
Nice. What is that model, man? I've seen that a bunch.
It's a Sennheiser MD441.
Nice, man. So do you travel with it too?
I don't actually. I mean, I usually ask the venue for it, but
yeah,
not all of them do have one. But I mean, the bigger ones definitely have one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
All the time, so.
Yeah, man. I was thinking, man. Sileo did a live stream, I think, during the pandemic, during the lockdown, where he was talking about how he got to where he was career-wise, and how he talked. He's an incredible musician, right? He's really jaw-droppingly great, but he talked about how his social media presence and all that got him to where he was, even though he wanted to focus more on music. He realized that the social media stuff is what got him more of a popular name, and I was wondering, you do this for Hohner, which is great, right? And it's great for the harmonica community to do these interviews. I watch them all the time just to get inspired. What are some other things that you feel like you want to like try out? I'm not saying like TikTok dances with wearing a Hohner shirt or something like that, but like, what are some things that you think what are some things that you think the harmonica community need to think about, when it comes to getting this instrument to a wider audience,
Yeah. I mean, first thing, the whole thing talking about these online formats and like, podcasts in general, like it's the biggest thing right now. I mean, at least for me too. Like I listen to podcasts. People are listening to 5-hour podcasts nowadays.
I know, yeah.
Like everybody's talking about the attention span getting smaller and smaller with TikTok and scrolling through feeds and whatever. But people are listening. I mean, it's also on the side while doing other things, but people are actually listening to these kind of things, conversations for 5 hours.
I know, yeah, it's awesome.
It's
I'm
incredible.
one of those people, man. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then it's also about kind of the entertainment factor which comes into play just with the relationship between the two people talking. I feel like our stream right now is pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Because we're not only talking... We're not only talking harmonica, and it's not too nerdy and stuff. It could be fun for other musicians at least too, or even for people who are not playing an instrument. So that's the most important thing, I guess, to think of. And then, I don't know, in terms of other stuff I want to try, that's what you were asking about, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like... it's interesting, right? Because like, I mean, like you're such a, I would say as far as our generation, I would put you there at the top of the list as far as like, your playing level, right? And
It's
your
hard to get
understanding
better.
of music. Yeah. You just gotta trying to push the rock a little bit further down the road. But I think right now you're one of the best harmonica players we have walking around. And it's like, you don't want to be one of those guys that are only known in the harmonica conventions, right? Or the you want to, because you care about music so much. It's not that you just care about the harmonica so much, it's that you care about music as much as you do. And it's interesting to hear somebody like Cy Leo, who is another one of those players that is just so far advanced, talk about how it was not his woodshedding that got him his popularity. You know what I mean? So it's a very interesting thing that I maybe it's because I'm releasing a new album and I'm trying to think of, sharing the pre-save link and like.
Oh, nice, interesting, yeah.
And I'm thinking about this kind of stuff more and more, and I'm like, what do we have to do? Because it is funny, much like when you say, oh, I'm a jazz artist or I play blues, when you tell people I play harmonica, they have a very particular thing in their head, even before they hear you play.
Yeah, don't tell them it's a harmonica album.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just interesting, man, to think about the things we have to do to make it go, right? Make the career go.
Yeah, for me it was always about the instrument itself and then just getting better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's it. It wasn't about jazz. I wasn't a
Yeah.
huge fan of jazz. I'm still not a huge fan of jazz. I like to improvise.
Yeah, totally.
And I learned it through jazz, you could say. But most of the time I listened to jazz, it was only for like purposes of improving as a harmonica player.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, man.
And at some point, you notice that you don't have to be the best player in order to become widely known or monetarily successful, whatever. There's also a whole lot about the people you know.
Yeah, dude. No kidding.
Yeah. And then you start to care more about the music itself.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely, man.
I mean, it's an interesting path, definitely.
Totally.
And I'm also like, this summer I'm putting out a song. I produced it. It's an Afrobeat song with a Nigerian singer. And
that's so cool.
it does have a harmonica hook in there.
Nice,
which
man.
I'm only telling you on the stream, but I'm not going to tell anybody else. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I also same thing. Like I'm gonna think about like how am I gonna announce this on social media and stuff.
Yeah.
How am I gonna talk about it? What am I gonna do? Am I gonna do like TikTok videos or whatever?
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
It's a wild thing, man. And right now I don't know if there's a clean. That's one thing I'd like to see at harmonica conventions is maybe they have like a classroom about branding and social media. You know what I mean? That would be cool to see.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of people that like. We're busy trying to get good at music that we have no clue, how to, please the algorithm gods, It'd be cool to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, these topics will automatically lead to, like, a more open-minded harmonica community in terms of genres and styles of music,
Yeah, totally, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. I'm looking forward to your TikTok videos.
Dude, I know. I gotta make it good. I'll make it good. It'll be a nice, real funny dance with a harmonica in the background.
Awesome. So you got the gig coming up tonight. You got the song coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
Then you got the whole album coming out soon.
Yeah.
A lot in the works. Like, is there anything else? Or, I mean, that's a lot already.
Yeah, I'll be at Spa this year playing. I forget what night. I'll be there with, just found out, me and Gregory Hummer are doing like the same stage, same time. Not same time, but same night. We're going to be playing. I think either I go before him. He said he goes before me, but I think I go before him. I could be wrong. Great player, right? Gregory's the dude. Especially for the guitar and rack thing. But yeah, my new album, Everybody's Buddy, produced by Charlie Hunter, comes out in July, single tomorrow. And man, it's super fun to get to hang out with you and talk harp, man. I've been a fan of your content with the Hohner streams and your playing for a long time. So this was cool to just hang out and, like you said, not talk about, and then I got this Howlin' Wolf record, and then I got my first Marine band. Just to get up and hang was awesome, man.
And then I bended the overblow up 2 half steps. And I opened up the harmonica and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was fun to just hang, man. Seriously, it was a lot of fun. I love what you're doing.
Definitely.
Love what you're doing, dude. You're crushing it.
So everybody out there, check out the description box below.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. Come hang out with us.
On our future TikTok accounts.
Yeah.
Spotify, you can already follow Nick there. Get ready for the release tomorrow. And on YouTube, we got the Facebook link in there too. Boa says it's going to be an amazing concert series at Spa. Yeah. Kenneth, really interesting and insightful interview. Thank you for tuning in. Nice. Yeah, check out the description box below too for the upcoming online events. So we got the next Hohner Live on June 8th together with Robert Bonfilio.
Woo!
If you are into tongue blocking and tongue switching, that's your thing. And we got the video game music challenge on Sunday with my pianist Benjamin Nuss. He'll be on site judging together with me. Can you play a video game music song on the harmonica?
Oh man, I can't. The one video game soundtrack I know that I really love doesn't have harmonica on it. It's like a folky record for this like folk video game.
Okay.
But you know, I'm excited to see the harmonica do that because there's a lot of video game soundtracks that are like funky, man. A lot of people don't know, but like there's some really good music in that world.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm excited to see what the contestants bring up, man.
Yeah, at least I'm waiting for the Tetris melody. I mean, someone got to play that.
Yeah.
Super Mario's kind of advanced, but can sound nice.
Yeah.
There are beautiful, simple pieces from Zelda.
Yep.
They are very, using like the modes, different modes. It's nice to learn the modes, playing Zelda music.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not too much into video games. My pianist is a pro.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
So, yeah, that's why he's judging. But maybe we could do a challenge soon. I was thinking about that cupping topic, just in general.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Doesn't matter what song or which style, but use a glass. Hold something behind the instrument.
The paper towel roll, all of it.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
I wanna see some weird stuff.
Yeah, dude, totally.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Have a nice evening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. How am I gonna end this?
Yeah. Oh my God!